almost there, man. I'm almost there. Oh, it moved on me. There we go. All right, how's everyone out there? How's everyone out there? How's everyone out there? I am. There, found me. All right, Bob's back Tuesday night biker news Canada. So I saw Black Dragon this morning touching on some news out of Canada. I think Billy Stacks touched on it too a bit. It's a story. I think I did the story already about how Canada is becoming, let's get the mic closer to me, a bit of a hub for the cartels for production of deadly substances and then moving them overseas. So I think I've already done that story. So I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to do an old story. I like the old stories better. They're more fun. Shit that happened in the past. You know what I mean? Can't get nobody in trouble for it. Barbie, how you been? Good to see you. Been a long time. How's life treating you out in Alberta? Hope you're okay out there. Always a pleasure. And K Wayne, of course, it's always a pleasure to have you along too, bro. You guys are the guys that make my show what it is. You too, Grant. Good to see you too, brother. Always a good time when everybody's in the chat. Because we know we're going to have more fun when everybody's in the chat and we're chopping it up. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother with the cartel, fentanyl, crystal meth, blah, blah, blah. Good thing I'm not monetized. That would have killed me. Story. Hey, thanks, K Wayne. I appreciate that, bro. I do. And good evening, Mom Iron Ranger. Good to see you also. I hear you. I got a big fucking bunch of shit I got to do this month, and I'm going to end up in a different location when it's all said and done. Hello, Ward. Good to see you, bro. Been a long time, my friend. What we got? Yeah, and Scrap Iron, too. Good to see you, too, brother. Don't forget Thursday. I'm excited about Thursday. I got to get a few more posts up about it. The original founder of the Satan's Choice from back in the 60s, man. So Don Norris is going to join us, and he's going to tell us what it was like back then days. I bet you it was. I think it's going to be a really good talk, so I'm looking forward to it. So eventually it's going to get moved into another channel. I'm calling it Canadian Politics After Dark / or dash Biker Edition. I think I've started the channel. It's up there. But for now, I'm going to do them off of this channel. I'll see if I can split them and do them off both channels at the same time. I don't know if StreamYard will allow me to YouTubes at the same time, but maybe I can go to one and bounce it to the other. I'll see. I'll keep it off Facebook for now. And then, yeah, eventually we'll all shuffle over to the politics channel and leave this channel strictly for the biker stuff. Because I know a lot of my followers, especially in the Facebook group, don't want to discuss politics. Every time I put a political post, they go fucking nuts. So I'll just leave it be because I got 10, 12,000 people over there. I don't want to piss them all off, right? Ain't no sunshine with guys. I was saying, oh, she's away. Yeah, bro, I'm going to be fucking moving. So you didn't find it yet? Okay, then I didn't get it set up correctly. And I think I've only got a couple little changes to make on AdSense. And I can start offering some members-only subscriptions, which I'll be excited about also. So Loud, my friend, always a fucking pleasure to see you, bro. I'm glad you come along every night all the way from North Carolina. Well, exactly, right? I'll get you on one day, Barbie, if you want to come on camera. I'll get you on and you can just tell us about Alberta for a night. I'd love to do that. And then we got the other brother who drops in most nights from Newfoundland. I'd like to get him and see. He watched on Sunday. He was right in the chat. So I'll see if he wants to drop on camera and just tell me what's going on in your province. I can tell you what's going on in southern Ontario. But I don't know what's going on 100% the rest of the world, the rest of the country. So I'm going to talk about tonight. This is something that happened, I think, back in the 80s or so, man. It kept going into the early 2000s. So the story goes, and this is the story goes. I wasn't there. I don't know. You know, when you're getting a story off of a TV or out of a newspaper, we've got the cops version. It is what it is. So we're talking. It's going back to the 90s. So in the 90s, um, Walter Stadnick from the Angels was looking to, because they already had Quebec locked down. They're in the middle of a big war, actually, and they had BC locked down and tightened up and figured out. Now the BC guys had really got it organized in their province, really, really well run, well organized, different levels, different people, different organizations doing different things. And man, they were untouchable for years and years. And then if anything happened to be one guy would get picked off and he'd go do 5 years, and maybe another guy for another chapter get picked off, but not the whole club, not the club as a whole ever. So hey, the show, good to see you, bro. So yes, I know Barbie, 100%, 100%. I'll definitely get into all that with you on Sunday because I don't understand it as well as you do. So I know. Exactly. You know, I know, you know. Somebody knows. So Walter started going east from British Columbia and he patched in a couple clubs. And we'll talk about all the different things along the way. You know, he went to Alberta. There's Grim Reapers, and I think in Calgary, and he grabbed them. And then there's another club in Edmonton, so he had to grab them. Then I don't know who was in Saskatchewan. Then when you got to Manitoba, that's what I want to talk about. Winnipeg. Winnipeg. There was two clubs in the city of Winnipeg, Los Brovos and Spartans MC at that time, as far as I know, from what I can gather anyway. And so Walter, I don't know if he did it on purpose. I'm sure he did, or for amusement, or because that was really the way he thought it was the best way to figure out who was the club to take. He got the Spartans and the Los Brovos beefing. Now they already didn't like each other because two clubs in the same city never do. But so he got them beefing, and it turned into there's a lot of shootings. There's a few murks, and there's some bad things that happened too, as in one of the guys who ended up in the 81 club was driving his tow truck with his young son in the car, and one of the Bravos, or no, one of the Spartans, sorry, rolled up on him and shot him 4 times in front of his son, which obviously is a no-no in the biker world. He claims he didn't see the kid there. And hey, who the hell knows, right? I wasn't there. There's some main players in it. Guy named Darwin Sylvester, he was the leader of the Spartans. A guy named Bob Sanderson, he was a key figure in the Los Bravos. So obviously this is coming from the Coppers, right? There's Walter Stadnick, of course. He was the guy who was putting the 81 together across Canada. A guy named Donnie Magnusson, who was Walter's bodyguard. Kevin Sylvester was Darwin's younger brother, and he was a Spartan as well. And he was hot-headed, and he's the guy who shot into the tow truck. And then, they didn't tell you on this thing I pulled up what the cop's name was that investigated the whole mess. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, you imagine that's why even in the biker world, that you don't do stuff in front of family. You can't ambush a guy who's walking his wife and his kid down the street. You can't. But sometimes it happens. Same as that kid who got hit by the shrapnel during the Quebec War. You know, the guys who were running the button machine should have seen there was a kid close by and called it off. You know, that's kind of the way those things are supposed to go. Sometimes it's full of adrenaline and who knows what the hell. I wasn't there. I'd never put myself in that situation. So there you go, right? But that was the thing that brought down Mom Boucher and that fucking dog and that time of the Hells Angels and the war in Quebec with the Rock Machine. That was when both clubs got together with their lawyers at the courthouse and said, we got to stop this or we're going to all end up in prison. And of course, they waited till Mom got popped before they took that step. But it wasn't long after that happened that the cops were going to do whatever it took to put Boucher in jail, right? All right. So this story in Winnipeg, so that's basically how it went down, right? So the Spartans and the Los Bravos. Now, I saw a post yesterday, and this often happens, that there are still some members of the Los Bravos today. So a lot of times when one of the clubs patches into the bigger club, not all the members are agreeing with it, and they want to keep their patches. And sometimes they say, yeah, that's cool. And sometimes they say, no, that club gets folded down. So apparently they're still around. I don't know. Again, I don't live in Winnipeg. But I saw a post like this week about that they're still around because apparently they were hanging out with the new Satan's Choice. So there it is, right? So where is it starting here? I got it to tell me the story so I could just kind of tell you guys the story in order of how it happened, right? So it was the 70s and 80s, two clubs were the clubs, Spartans and Bravos. They were rivals. Okay, we got that. They clashed violently over the time. We got that. Then in 94, the Los Bravos stole some product out of a warehouse. And then it set off bombings and shootings and beatings and all that sort of shit, as it does. Nobody can afford to lose 2 kilos of product, so it is what it is. So they had this one detective, Charlton, he was the guy. And then Walter Stadnick showed up in town, and those two clubs knew what it was about. So that's what he used this for, is kind of like an audition, right? Hey, Rick, how are you? Hope you're feeling better, bro. Thanks for the post earlier today, brother. Say Choice MCF set black members now. Yes, they do. They have black members. You keep asking me the same questions, bro. At least come up with different questions. But yeah, they have black members. Yep. So the Pressure Mountain, 96 Magnum. Yeah, so that was a weird one. So Stadnick tried to get these two clubs to solve their problems without any more violence because, he knows, as everybody does, violence is bad for business. And then the guy who was supposed to be his bodyguard, this Magnuson guy, he shot one of the high up members of the Los Bravos, a guy called David Boyko, and just shot him in the head in the middle of a little tussle argument in the clubhouse, and boom, he done him away. So then in 1996, they found his body beaten to death in Halifax. So that's another thing about bike clubs, dangerous bike clubs. They'll remember for years to go. And then when the appropriate time and place and you do something again that's out of line, and that's it. Your run is over. So they're saying he was murdered in 98. And then they're saying it was a move to clean house before the final patch over. So, and then, logistically, it makes sense to have a presence in Winnipeg, where it's halfway It's a halfway point kind of for Canada. So if you're moving things around Canada, that's a good halfway point. So Statnik was already leaning towards the Bravos. So Darwin Sylvester panicked, and so he started reaching out to the Rock Machine, which wasn't a good move. So they made an example of the Spartans, which means that they did the big rush, and they basically took their clubhouse, took their patches, and shut it down. They just said, no, you don't exist anymore. And sometimes back in those days, that shit happened. You know what I mean? When you agree, yeah, listen, bro, I just gave you an answer. The choice has black members. 100% they do. But yeah, and we've already gone over the racism thing in motorcycle culture last week, bro. That's why I'm saying if you want to talk about different subjects, then come up with a new one, and I'll take the time to talk to you about it. But we've talked about racism in motorcycle clubs. We've already we went over it last week. Me, you, the chat, everybody was in on it. So yeah, so they made an example out of the Spartans. Final burst of violence, including the death of key Spartan Robert Rosmus, and then the other guy, Darwin, disappeared. Darwin Sylvester, he's never been seen again to this day. So in 2000, that's when 81 was making their push in Ontario. Also, they patched over the Lost Bravos as well, and that was it. The first HA chapter, Manitoba. Now that chapter's had its own issues as the years go on. You know, they've been raided and all that stuff, and I think they have a chapter there now, and they're doing their thing. That's a better way to say it, Barbie. Take care, bro. Okay, bro. Hey, man, I'm just being honest with you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'll talk to you about anything, man. But it's I don't want to talk about the same questions all the time. That's all. So yeah, so they thought that they had the whole thing locked up, and then of course it got set up much in the way of BC and stuff like that, and that's where it goes. So yeah, the shooting into the thing, and then that younger brother of Darwin Sylvester, Kevin, I think his name was, he went off the rails. His house got firebombed and shot up a bunch of times and stuff like that. So, but as far as I know, he never left Winnipeg, the crazy bugger. He stayed there, but you know, even in his 40s, he was getting drug into court for pulling guns on a family in a minivan, thinking they were the HA coming to get him. And I heard, you know, the one thing I saw about is he got heavy into the boogers stuff, and you know, spent days not sleeping, you know, and then along the way they brought in the zigzag crew and all that stuff, and then the street crews and all that. So, you know, it's that's the story. It was a big thing. The cops did get like 31 of them in 09 and stuff like that. So, like I say, they've had their issues. And hey, back to the real truth. Hey, bro, I'm sorry I kind of sounded pissed off. It's just, again, the same questions all the time, and seriously, shake my head stuff and all that stuff. And like, bro, I can't change this stuff, right? We can talk about it and stuff, but I can't change it from sitting in my chair in London, Ontario, right? I've got a 3,000 subscriber reach, and I just wanted I want this channel to stick to what's good in the bike world, aside from these crazy stories, because they're old stories, and they're basically giving us something to talk about during the winter months. But if you want to come along and ask me some questions, I'll gladly discuss them with you, man. It's not that I was telling you to fuck off. My voice might have said that, but it's not what I was meaning. So anyways, that's what I got for tonight, dudes. Ricky, again, thanks for your posting, your comments earlier today. And let's hope they let you out of there tomorrow, bro. get on into that. Is now your next stop that cool place they were telling you about with the view of the islands and that shit? I hope so. Yeah, I gotta do me sold out. It's just kind of how it is, right? I can't help it. Like you guys that come here every day, you guys kind of know my personality by now, right? You know that I'm a pretty straight shooter, and I'll tell you what's on my mind. But if things are starting to aggravate me, I'll tell that too. It is what it is. I can't hold myself back, right? I am who I am. And again, we discussed that because you were here, Scrap Iron, when he was starting last week with all those crazy ones. And I think, or it was either Scrap Iron or Sold Out. A bunch of you were. So, Grant, thanks for dropping in, brother. I can't wait for Thursday, man. And I can't wait until, I brought down my phone this time so I can find the comments. Because now that, like I say, we kind of got past being giving each other shitty toned comments. Gary Nutty Como, EAU at the end. It's the French, right? One of the Porthold 8 is messaging me. He messaged me again today. And when his court stuff's done, I think I'm going to get him on for an interview. And we'll get the Porthole Bates story from somebody who was there, man. I think that's fucking cool. Thank you, buddy. Ro, I appreciate you, man. I really do. And more, thank you again, bro. You're right. It is my channel. I try to keep it level and fair for everyone, and et cetera, et cetera. I'm not up here trying to change the world. I can only do what I can do. And I think the small part of my focus of trying to change how the public perceives bikers, that's my lane. That's my lane. And I think that's how I spoke about it last week. Some subjects I don't want to spend too much time on because they're very decisive, and I don't want to fucking make anyone offended along the way. So some things are easier not to get too deep into. Oh, that's a good way to look at it too, Mom Iron Ranger. That's a very good way to look at it, man. Yeah. Don't shuffle it under the rug, but don't fucking yap about it all the time like it's the only thing on your mind. You know what I mean? And thanks for that, War. I appreciate you, bro. You know I do. And hey, if any of you American dudes talking about different races and stuff, if any of you guys know anyone from the Gentleman Club, I know they're through the States, and they just opened a Toronto chapter. I'm trying to get somebody from the Toronto chapter up for an interview. If anyone knows how to point me in the right direction, I'd gladly appreciate it. I think that'd be a good interview too. And again, guys, that's what I got for tonight. I wanted to make sure I came on and said hello to everybody, because it wouldn't be a normal day if I didn't see y'all. Well, Bob, I've been on a street bike once. So I'm definitely not part of the bike community. That's my understanding of clubs. Well, thank you. And that's what I set out to do, And once more and more people realize that a big pack of bikes going by is more than likely raising money for a cause and not out to have a rumble. Although a rumble would be fun, I bet you. I never had one, but I bet you it'd be fun. You know what I mean? And it's fucking. They're doing what they're doing. They're getting food for the food bank. They're getting toys for fucking tots or something, man. Oh yeah, Ward, that'd be cool, man. How was things in Vegas, man? I haven't seen any of those crazy clips like that lady trying to wipe you and your brother's old lady off your bikes that day. Yeah, that's another big one, Rick. Mentioning that's something that should be mentioned. Honoring falling brothers is big in the biker community. And again, people should just have the respect for that. It's a solemn moment. When my two guys got shot here in my town, and we went to the funeral and stuff, right? I was a hang around, and the one guy was my roommate. but he was a full patch. And hi, Mike. Good to see you, bro. And a friend lent me his motorcycle, and I rode that bike from the church to the grave site, and I was a pallbearer, and I did that part. And when it was done, man, I couldn't ride that bike home. I had to find the guy that lent it to me and say, "Hey, bro, say thank you for lending me your motorcycle, but I don't want to ride it right now. I don't trust myself on it." And that was it. It was an emotional day, man. She says up to no good. That's right. We're up to no good. And they watched that crazy fucking movie, right? That old movie. What do you got? What are you rebelling about? What do you got? I fucking love those old movies. They were the best. But yeah, man, we're just doing our things. We're trying to get people fed, trying to get people warm, trying to get people clothed. Remembering our fallen, because unfortunately, with the way people drive anymore, there's more and more of the fallen than there ever used to be, and that's a scary thing. But it is what it is at this point. We got to ride with our heads on a swivel. And that's what bikers are doing. So I hope that this little channel is kind of getting that word out there. I hope so. I think it is. Guys all saying hi to each other. Mikey Mike, I was just getting ready to pop off for the night. Come on Sunday, bro. Come on Sunday if you want and join me for a political discussion on the political show. I'd be more than happy to have you on, brother. And I think I got Papa Penguin coming on next weekend. So if you guys want to make it a three-way or a round table or whatever, let's try for something. If you're up for it. And it'll just be an hour starting at 8. So I don't know if that'll Big Bone comes on Sunday. So you know what I mean? So yep, thank you, Mama Iron Ranger. Hit that like button. Phil St. Ange. Thank you, Phil. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you all as well, everybody that comes. Like I say, I think I've got the thing sorted. I just gotta fine tune it. We'll start doing the members only stuff as well. I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm happy for you, Rick. So 2:30 tomorrow, you and your new lungs get to roll on downtown to a condo. Is your body taking them? I guess it is. So yeah, that's it, eh? I imagine that you got to be exhausted all the time. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate you coming, bro. Have a good night. Capital City Bikers Church gives food, clothing, meals, support. Anyone can reach out. Oh, yeah, that's when you were telling me about up in Ottawa. I did look at them, by the way, Grant. I do the I do follow up on people's recommendations, and yes, I've yet to reach out to them, I think, but I wouldn't mind talking with them one day if they're available and they're up for it. I'd love to have them on for an interview. Those are the people I love talking to. Okay. All right, brother. No problem. I know you like talking politics, and I'll be there. We'll switch it up one night. Good for you, Rick. I'm glad to hear it. So, Rick, double lung transplant, and he's fucking heading out of the hospital already. That's so cool, man. War, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. 15 years is a good life for a dog, but I'm so sorry to hear that. You have yourself a great night, bro. All right, guys. I'm going to sign myself off. Yeah, it is a bummer, isn't it? I got 3 dogs. I fucking hate losing animals. But yeah. WG, that's right. I forgot it was WG before. All right. Thank you, everyone. Much love. And I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do it all again. And more, much love to you, bro. And Rick, I'm happy to hear that you're getting better, man. Wicked. Thanks, guys. Love you.